And actually, before I start tweaking the logo, I think I'll go ahead and build out the rest of the body of the design. I'm looking at this. I really like the flow of the top of the wings, kind of arching out to a point here and then coming down. I've got the chiseled stone effect down here at the bottom. And I think I can bring this chiseled stone, into the design again, here in the center, just playing off the way in which that goes down, points down through the design, just having the design, pointed at the top where the logo is and then flowing right down through. Right click here, I just resize that order. I'll go to in front of. I'll go ahead and bring this to a point down here, like that. And I like what's going on here now with that. We've got this chiseled stone going down through the center of the design, the logo at the top. I might resize this just a little bit so those 2 points are behind the skulls, and drag this down just a little bit there, and it's playing off the top of the skulls coming in this way. So we've got this whole chiseled stone going on down through the design here, and we've got the skulls with the feathers and the wings, everything set up, a real MMA style design here. Now, designing at this level in this amount of time, we've been working for about an hour, but designing at this level in this amount of time is really something that, in my opinion, is just mind-boggling to think how far graphics have gone in the last 20 years. When I was in college for graphic design, they weren't even using computers yet. But anyway, here we are sitting creating hand-drawn designs with all kinds of detail and effects inside of an hour. Looking at this now, what I want to do is bring some more effect into the background to start to get a real affliction type or afflicted MMA type look. So I'm going to go back to my brushes. I want to go to my destroyed watercolor, and let's just go ahead and lay down a brush here. And I want to go ahead and go back to get a different brush here, see what we've got here. I've got this brush here, and what I want to do is just build off of some effect here. You're going to see where I'm going to go with this. We're going to open up the Fashion Factory at this point, but I'm going to go ahead and change the size of this brush. I'm going to build off of the shape of the skull on one side. So I'm going to come down here, something like that, and I think I want to be even thinner. An even thinner brush, and I'm just going to start splashing some color in, following the shape of the skull. So I'm going to need to start further up here and come down through something like that, and then I'm going to start down here in the back here of this chiseled stone and come back up in this way, and I'm going to change the size of my brush again. I'm going to bring some effect down in here. That wasn't the way I wanted to go. I wanted to come from the way up. I want the splatter part coming down in the bottom of this, and then I want to come off of this splatter here again through the skull up into my logo area. I want the ends of those splatters, so I'm going to need to go the other way with that stroke, something like that, and something coming around this way, perhaps like that, and then we'll come down in here again, playing off the shape of the chiseled stone down in here that you can see right there. And I want to have a little bit more of that down in here, and then I'm just going to come in here this way, probably follow some of this around the outside, but I'm not going to do that at this point in time. Go ahead and select all of these blue brushes, clicking on them, holding down my shift key, making sure I get all of them, because I'm going to do some things here. I've got one up here along the head of the skull head I didn't get. I'll hit Control Z, go back, click here, and I'll take all of these. I'm going to fill these with a black. As you can see there, now I'm going to go to Bitmaps, convert to Bitmaps. I'm going to go with a grayscale. Transparent background, very important. ICC, not important. Aliasing, okay. And we'll process that. Now, I'm going to make some effects with this. So the first thing I'm going to do is copy this, and I'm going to work on this alone on page 2. So I'm going to come down here to page 1, right click, insert page after, paste this in. Now I've just got an effect here. All I'm going to do is go to Bitmaps, blur, Gaussian blur, and just soften that up a little bit. Preview that. I'm going to want even more than 2 pixels. just creating a soft background effect that I can add some effects to. And that's kind of distressed, grunge, and destroyed. Now, that being set up like that, I'm going to Advanced Tools, Fashion Factory, get my Fashion Factory here. I'm going to go to Textures, and I've got this couple of different effects here that I want to work with, but I'm going to go down through here previewing some of these and see which effect I want to add here from the Fashion Factory. And I don't want metal. I was thinking about snake scales, but I just want to kind of destroy this a little bit. I can go with something like Psycho Halftone. I'll click Apply as Transparency. Really different effect going on there. I want to go to my Interactive Transparency tool and adjust that. Change how that effect is going on here with this graphic. Take a look at my starting and ending points here also. And I liked it the way it was before. Now this being kind of destroyed the way it is, puts a really interesting effect on things there. But I'll take this now, so I'll just go to Bitmaps, convert to Bitmaps, grayscale, anti-aliasing, transparent background. Again, very important, transparent background. Bitmap mode, black and white. You can see this doesn't look right, but it'll be just fine. Select OK. I'll left click to take my fill out, right click to change my foreground to white, copy that, go back to my design here, take this one that I created, delete that, go ahead and hit Control V, paste this back into my design as a white, then right click, order, and go to in front of and select my gray here. And you can see we get a really nice effect going on in the background against this skull. Now the only thing that I did here that I think I maybe didn't want to do, looking at the balance of the design, is I've got a lot more going on up here along the top than what I probably want. So because we're going freestyle here, I'm actually going to go ahead and hit Control Z and go back and make some adjustments to this. So you can get a look inside of the actual design process of how it is that I set up designs like this. I'm going to Control Z all the way back to where I had those set up as vector. And I'm going to take that amount of effect to an entirely different level. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and delete this. I don't want that. I can see that I really liked what was going on with that effect, so I'm going to go back to my brushes. Let's see which direction we're going here with this. And if we go that way, I'm going to delete that, and I'm going to start to come in much heavier with this, like right in here. I'm going to bring this down in size to about 0.35 and just start playing with more splashes of color in the design. Now I'm going to take and duplicate this over on the other side when it's done. So it's not really going to be that much of a problem, but I don't want this hard edge here, and just really build off of what's going on with the chiseled stone and bringing this effect in to my design. And I'll bring it down in here where the feathers are, even more of it. And I'm going to bring some of this off over here, and some heaviness of this down there. And I don't think I want to go over in there. I want to keep everything pretty well focused over in here. And I'm bringing a lot of this effect in now in different areas. And I'm not too happy with that, so I'm going to hit Control Z and go back a few strokes here where I don't have quite as big of strokes in my design. I can delete this, and I can see that flowing through here. I probably want to change that, so I'll select that and delete it. And I'll select this and delete that. And let Corel get rid of those, and I'll select this here. And now what I'll do is take my brush, and I'm at the right size. What size am I at now? I'm at the right size. Start really bringing this effect in off of the chiseled stone, so it's going to flow into the skulls with the chiseled stone and kind of fade out from it, almost like smoke or mist, with an effect coming out of the skull and flowing in with the chiseled stone. So I'm just bringing the distressed part of that brush, which is spattered down here at the end, and pulling that into the skull. Corel's going to process it back up here. I'm sure that'll take just a minute with everything we've got going on here. And here we go again. And we'll just bring this right in that way. And then I can actually bring some more of this way. Let's see how this works. Off the top and play off the logo with some of that effect also, kind of swooping in there. And we can actually bring some of this right in there also. And then bring some more of this off of this way and this way. And I'll bring just a touch more there and there. Now I'm going to zoom in and take a look here before I go through and I process this again. A lot of effect going on here, but this right here is too hard. I don't like what's happening there. Let's see what that will delete. Click on that and delete that. And that's getting rid of some of that good. I don't want that hard edge right there. I want this fading in. Kind of like pouring or flowing from the skull back into the chiseled stone area. So we'll come in here and we'll lay down a few more of these strokes here. Put one of these here and one of these here. Make sure everything's going to flow and then get nice and solid here, coming back into the skull. I want to come in here too also, and a little bit down here, and just a little bit down there. And I think that's going to work this time. So now I'll take this, and this is what I'll use to create my effect. I got my gray background there. I don't want that. I want to get all this blue stuff here. Now, because of the amount of objects I have here, I'm just going to go to Simple Steps and create a color palette. I've got this blue here. I want to make sure I've got all of that, so I'm just going to lasso everything. And did we get everything here? What are we getting? Because I don't want to miss any of those brush strokes on anything. And we got everything. I got the chisel stone and everything, but I'll just go to Simple Sets because I just want to select all that blue. Create palette, blue. Anything that's got a blue fill, I'm going to select that object. There's 84 of them. And I can now take these and cut these out of my design instead of trying to go through and select them. What I'll do is I'll go to right click here, insert page after to create my effect, paste. Now what I'm doing is I'm going to convert this to a black, and now Corel just crashed, but I've been backing up all along. So what I've done is we've pushed it really over the envelope with Corel. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and close the program and we'll restart. Obviously lost some work, but we'll get back to that. But I'm not going to edit this crash out because it's important that you understand when you're dealing with graphics at this level. I mean, even when I'm dealing in Illustrator and Photoshop, I can crash them when I'm working at this level. But I'm going to go ahead and close the program and we'll restart and we'll get this back together.